by Barra & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, get ready to spend the next 2 hours with our three sports-loving ladies. Mia O'Brien, Lauren Brooks, and Taylor Dahl.
This is Helmets and Heels
On 1010XL, switched on by First Coast Lighting and Fans. Upscale lighting, fans, and home decor.
Show me what you got, pretty lady.
It's a preseason victory Monday. Jaguars beat the Chiefs Saturday night 26-13. Ladies, it's also back to school for lots of kids out there today. So happy back to school day for all really the parents out there.
Yes.
Not so much the teachers or the kids.
Like, bye, kids.
New K through 8 school opened down the road from me this week, and the traffic was a little bit more noticeable this morning on the way to work, ladies, than in the last few weeks or months past. But yes, an exciting time I think for everyone in Duval as we settle into that fall routine. I mentioned it in our promo meeting this morning. Lauren, Taylor, and I both knew this was coming, but I don't think the rest of the gentlemen in the room did.
Oh, yeah.
High school football starts next Friday. Games that matter, games that count on your record.
Yep.
So if you weren't ready for football season,
It's here.
It's coming in hot and heavy.
Yeah, August 23rd. And once again, we'll carry Bowles and Bishop Kenny on air, so you'll be able to listen to those games. All right, let's get it to Saturday night. The Jaguars, I thought, came out with some energy. Even though certainly the stadium was not filled, Everbank Stadium was not at max capacity by any means. There were a lot of Chiefs fans over on their side, but a ton of Jaguars fans over on our side.
Taylor Swift wasn't there.
And no T Swift. I was not sad about that.
I love all of our content creators and influencers, obviously here at 1010, but also outside of the sports world. If you follow any of the foodie accounts, the fashion accounts here in Jacksonville, man, oh man, way too many were in attendance, like hoping and praying they'd get a sighting of Kelsey and Swift last night. I'm like scrolling through my Instagram last night, and I'm like, honey, she wasn't coming. She was in Europe. Like, I don't know what you're looking for.
Yeah, she also realizes that it's preseason,
Yes.
and this does not count towards the Super Bowl. So, yeah, she'll continue on tour. But as far as the actual game is concerned, to me, there are some big takeaways. Obviously, the no injuries. That's what you want out of every preseason game. You want that out of every training practice. The Jaguars, to this point, really have suffered only one season-ending loss, which is Deshaun Dixon. We don't know yet about Patrick Murtaugh. I thought it would be season-ending, but they haven't announced that to this point. So one season-ending injury thus far. Certainly the Chiefs suffered a really scary injury on Saturday night as Hollywood Brown ended up with a sternoclavicular dislocation, which basically is your collarbone being dislocated.
Glad you could pronounce that because I couldn't.
I attempted it at least. And so, again, no injuries. That was a big thing as far as for the Jaguars. The Chiefs, like I said, had a few different ones. But I think, to me, we can only look so much into the first team offense and the first team defense since they weren't out there that long. But what we saw from them as far as the Jaguars offense, I'll start with them, Taylor. The Jaguars offense, I thought, other than Trevor getting sacked, looked fairly efficient. Maybe could have used a little bit more yards in the run game, but overall looked efficient. Certainly the strike from Trevor to Gabe Davis across the middle was something beautiful to see.
Yeah, I think that when you have, and this is what stood out to me, when you look at the depth chart and how we've talked about building this offense and building this defense back in the day, there's guys here that we would have desperately needed. Some guys that we're watching in preseason, okay, we need these guys to be a major part of this offense or this defense. Right now, we're looking at a lot more depth pieces, a couple battles. We've talked a ton about the secondary and stuff like that, but I think, to me, looking at the depth pieces and seeing that even the depth pieces were performing at a high level where you felt confident that you have a starting roster that you're confident in, and then you have guys behind that you're not absolutely terrified that if something happens, it's going to go massively downhill. And I think that's important. But I also think guys like Brian Thomas Jr., when he makes the catch the way that he did, we talk about him being quiet, that catch is loud. And everybody talked about it, everybody heard it. And that's the type of thing you want to see from preseason games.
All right. It's time for the Heeligans out there to start rolling their eyes when I say, did we lie to you about Tank Bigsby?
I tweeted it.
Because
I feel like it's preseason. You guys talked about it last year. Tell me he doesn't look different.
Tell me, and again, this is no knock on Travis Etienne, but I'm going to say it again. Travis Etienne very well may be the best football player on your roster, the most electric athlete. You cannot tell me watching Tank Bigsby hit the hole the way that he did, the cutback, the double move he made on that 9-yard run, that the guy is not a great running back, doesn't have the potential to be a great running back. I know there are those of you who feel like we're selling you this bag of beans and it's not, it's Jack and the Beanstalk. It's never going to amount to anything. I don't know. I've seen it now for 3 straight weeks, Lauren. That's not the first time I saw it. And if I'm seeing it day after day, week after week, there has to be something there.
There are other running backs that didn't get off to a great start that didn't end up with the season that they wanted because the coaches decided they didn't trust them. That happens other places. It just is so magnified here because of how good Tank Bigsby looked in training camp a season ago. And then the way that the regular season went for him. It's okay for him to rewrite the story going into year 2.
And by the way, Dearness Johnson also looked great. 5 carries for 31 yards, along of 11 yards. He also looked pretty good in the receiving game.
Jalen Jackson,
I thought
too.
as well. Jalen Jackson as well.
So we've been talking about the run game a lot in general, and this is an indication that it doesn't. It's not one guy. It doesn't have to be Travis Etienne this year, because you have, number one, a line that is blocking better when it comes to the run game, but also capable running backs who. You feel throughout the running back room, you feel this different level of how they're performing. And this is quick. I get it. It's preseason, but it looks a lot different. It feels different.
So Jalen Jackson, I'm glad you brought him up, Taylor, because who does he remind you of? Can you put a finger on who it is? We were discussing this at my house over the weekend. Does he remind you at all of James Robinson? With a little bit quicker of a first step?
Yeah.
Because that's who he is
I
for
can
me.
see it, yeah.
More of a bowling ball. That's not to say that Tank Bigsby doesn't fulfill that need on this roster. I'm not saying that Jalen Jackson's going to usurp Tank or Dearness Johnson's touches, but he does provide you something that the other 3 ahead of him do not. And I'm very curious to see. Look, I mean, could he be a practice squad guy? Yes.
Because of Keelan Robinson.
Because
if they
of
hadn't
Keelan
drafted
Robinson.
him, then I think we would be saying he'd make the 53. Jalen.
Right. And I think that, again, you need to have some proven depth of some kind, whether that's a young player like him or, you know, a veteran who could step in on a moment's notice across the board at multiple positions on the practice squad. That's why you have it. But I came away from that game saying, number one, I understand the first 2 drives, they didn't incorporate Tank and Dearness at all. But I came away saying, imagine if they had incorporated Tank, Dearness, Jalen Jackson more last year. That's where I think, as much as they took the run game down to the studs and Dearness was banged up, Travis was banged up, Tank was in the doghouse last year, I think it goes beyond just keeping Travis Etienne fresh. It goes beyond keeping those other 2 fresh. It's about change of pace. All 4 of those guys, and that's without Keelan Robinson, who Heath Farwell continues to say has impressed despite being limited with that toe injury and is going to be a core 4 special teamer. He's making the team. All 5 of those guys give you something different. And that is also, even beyond the run blocking, where this run game can take it to the next level.
Yeah, and then when you look at the Jaguars' first-team defense, I think there was panic throughout Everbank Stadium Saturday night when the Chiefs were marching down the field. And can we draw massive conclusions from that? No. The Chiefs are a well-established team. Mahomes knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
And the Jaguars were still able to get the 3rd down stop and force them to kick a field goal. But I think watching the defense overall throughout the night, I was really impressed with just how fast they are. So much more speed, I feel like, than a season ago. And how hard they hit. That, to me, also stood out. And that wasn't just the first-team defense. That was throughout the entire game.
Yeah, I think there was a lot of players that popped, and that's what you want to see in these situations when it comes to a Terrell Edmonds. A guy like that, you want to see those plays out of him in this moment. Chad Muma, who a few weeks ago, I know you guys said something a little bit different, but I was like, I felt at that point, I'm like, we have so many guys on this roster. Does he have a place? And he's definitely making a place for himself on this roster. I think it's really fun. Ventrell Miller, a little scare early. I think everybody was probably like, oh no, Ventrell injured again.
That is one that I'm going to give the Heeligans out there that want to be heels, not helmets and heels. They just want to be heels, and they want to say, oh, he's just got to stay healthy. Because yes,
it does.
That is, again, if we're going to say that we believe in Tank Bigsby because he's consistently available and he's consistently performing, you can say to me that I have questions about Ventrell Miller because he consistently is getting bumped and bruised here and there.
But he went back in.
He went back in. He told me post-game it was a shoulder. He was cleared to go back in. Again, we know the hand injury. He was playing with one hand. We saw Devin Lloyd last year play with one hand and play pretty well.
Still had a PD, so he's still around the ball. He's finding it.
Exactly. And imagine if Devin had 2 hands. Imagine if Ventrell had 2 hands on Saturday.
Yeah. Overall, I think Ryan Nielsen's defense, we started to finally see what we've been talking about for so long. And they're not going to show everything also. It's preseason, obviously. But you finally get to see different players in different roles. And I think that to me is really interesting. Also, we've talked about this in the press box, that Roy Robertson-Harris was out there kind of late into the game. And so what does that say about him moving forward?
Yeah, so I did rewatch the game yesterday, as I tweeted yesterday, mostly because I wanted to see if Breland Speaks was indeed the greatest player to ever put on a Jaguar jersey, because in the fourth quarter on Saturday night, it sure felt like it. Maybe that was just the craziness of a long day and little AC getting into my brain. But no, to the Roy Robertson-Harris point, you have to remember he missed most of the offseason program with a lower body injury. They've been trying to ramp him back up. He was limited to individual drills the first week or so of training camp. And so for me, that number one speaks to the ramp up period to joint practices, because the expectation, at least from his availability last week, is that he will be a full participant this week. And it also speaks to, Lauren, if you look at that depth chart right now, a lot of those defensive tackles with Eric Armstead still on the PUP list are either rookies or they got here 5 minutes ago. And so you needed Roy out there because you needed someone that's been here, could give you kind of some form of consistency week over week, month over month, because he's been in the building. And so I don't think it was a knock on him. I know some fans thought that. Christian Braswell also started the game and was still playing in the fourth quarter. Again, a guy who essentially redshirted last year. Reps. Getting him an opportunity on the field. He's healthy. He's making plays. Let's keep him out there, because he didn't have that opportunity last year.
I wonder to this point, Mia, in watching the Jaguars sack leader through the preseason with 1.5 sacks, Asezi Otomehu, I wonder what the future is for him too. I mean, when we talk about this defensive line and the rotation, he's a guy that when you watch training camp practice and certainly when you watch the preseason game, he looks really good. And I wonder what the future is for him. Some people probably don't have him making the 53-man roster. At this point, I feel like he is.
I think that a lot of his future depends on, number one, what they think they have in the two rookies, in Mason Smith and Jordan Jefferson.
And Jefferson's been limited as well.
Correct. I think that's a big, and not to say that they're identical players, because they're not. One has a bit more inside-outside versatility. And secondly,
which is Mason.
No, Mason, yes, but I would say Asesi has more inside-outside versatility than Jordan Jefferson, who's more of a pure nose. At least he was in college. And so I also think Eric Armstead's availability is the big X factor. And that's not just for Asesi. That's for go on down the line of any of those guys that rotated in. I don't think you see as much Rasheem Green or Jonathan Marshall if Eric Armstead is available and playing. I understand he probably would have only played the first 2 drives on Saturday, but moving forward, he obviously is getting much more run so long as he's available compared to some other players.
Do you think that depending what's happening with, or what will happen with Deshaun Dixon, it makes a spot for him?
That's a great point, Taylor, because that is someone they were high on in the building. It was a gut punch.
And he's also versatile.
And here's the thing with
I think he was going to be outside linebacker only, Dixon.
No, he would have been from his interview with me last Sunday. He was going to provide inside-outside versatility for them, because, and this is where I can only imagine the gut punch his injury was, because he's a guy they invested in. And I know for this front office and this coaching staff, they take pride in a guy who was an undrafted free agent, started, at the outside linebacker position. They asked him to move inside last year. The former regime on the defensive side did. He developed, learned a new position. Now, in Ryan Nielsen's scheme, you can bring both, marry them together. And again, he's a guy that they have kept in an incubator and developed. And so that is where I think that was a real gut punch. And to that point, I don't know who they have who can fill that role. And so, again, I think with Asezi, you could get that. Not as much, perhaps, on the outside.
Yeah.
But, Taylor, your friend Travis Gibson, he looked darn good on Saturday. I mean, he's making his case, and that's where, as we look ahead to what this 53-man depth chart could look like, 53-man roster and the depth chart could look like week 1.
Yeah.
Okay, you got 41 and 44 on your designated, they are defensive end, whatever you want to say, even though they're both going to rotate. Everybody's going to play everywhere in Ryan Nielsen's defense. At least that's the expectation. But I think that, if you want to know who the third guy is, as of right now,
It's like Travis.
And I think DJ Coleman played great as well, by the way. Another guy who they've kept in the incubator, they've developed. But Travis Gibson has some skins on the wall. Yeah. He's been in the league. He knows Bill Shuey. We've said it time and time again. At one point, and Gus Logue tweeted it in the press box and pointed it out to us, he had a tackle, a pressure, like 3 straight plays that he was somehow involved in.
Yeah.
That is what you need to see, and you didn't see from that position group last year, beyond Josh Hines Allen and Trayvon Walker.
I think the rosters those final cuts are going to be really difficult. I'm glad that I don't have to be in the room
Making that
when those
decision.
happen. Yeah, because I do think there are guys that are, I mean, obviously they're giving it 100%. They know that this is for their future, whether it's here or somewhere else. But I thought the Jaguars backups played better than the Chiefs backups did by and large. And that includes the backup quarterbacks as well, which to me, that should be no surprise. The Jaguars have Mac Jones, and granted, CJ obviously started ahead of Mac Jones, but Mac Jones looks like he is going to be a really good backup, whether that's here for years or whether that's just this year.
Yeah, and I asked him about that, and you'll hear from Mac in the locker room in just a little bit. I asked him, that second drive, he looked much more in command, and he admitted there were some nerves.
Yeah.
I
You could tell.
look, it's a new situation, yes, but you're literally back in your hometown. Everyone you've ever known is watching this game right now, basically. And so, look, I thought there was legit speed on the ball as he threw it, and that's not to knock CJ Beathard, who, look, I mean, every time he's out there, he's battling, and he's somehow finding a way to connect with receivers, whether that was Devin Duvernay for the touchdown, BTJ for the catch. I know he underthrew BTJ. I know he underthrew Parker Washington for a would-be touchdown.
Yep, and Duvernay.
But the ball did look different as it left. What's the Matt Hayes drop? His balls are different in person.
Yeah.
Mac Jones's balls were different than CJ Beathard's on Saturday night.
All right, we will continue to talk Jaguars-Chiefs preseason game number 1 in the books. We'll let you hear from Christian Kirk, Mac Jones, Christian Braswell, Cam Little, all those guys. Mia caught up with them in the locker room, as well as Doug Peterson is meeting with the media as we speak. Lots coming your way today on Helmets and Heels. It's a Big Chief Tire Monday on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
The station that's not afraid to trade a little paint.
Look out.
This Sunday at Michigan International Speedway. Brought to you by the Plumbers and Pipefitters Local Union 234. From Jacksonville's NASCAR station, 1010XL. Now, the Florida State Seminole Report. Brought to you by your local Ag Pro, your home team.
Florida State men's basketball will face Rice in the Battleground 2K Hoops doubleheader at the Toyota Center in Houston on November 9th, as announced by United Sports and Entertainment. The Seminoles will face the Owls in the first game of the doubleheader, which also features Houston going toe-to-toe against Auburn in the second game of the one-day event. I'm RJ Saunders with your Ag Pro Seminole Report.
AgPro has been family-owned and operated for over 64 years. We take pride in developing long-lasting relationships and offering first-class customer service. Need a new tractor, parts for your used equipment, or reliable service? AgPro has you covered. AgPro is here to serve you and your operation as your hometown dealer. Visit us today at any of our AgPro locations or go online to agproco.com to get started with your AgPro experience.
It's the sale that's sweeping the nation. It's the national sales event, and it's going on now at Arlington Toyota. Mia here, and why shop the national sales event at Arlington? 2 words for you: huge selection. Arlington's lot is packed with new Toyotas in stock in one location. But you ask Mia, is now the right time to buy? Let me put your mind at ease thanks to Arlington's 60-day exchange program. That's 60 days to love your new Toyota purchase or exchange it for one that you do. Worried about financing? There's the Arlington Credit Helper. You even get a complimentary car wash with every service. And did I mention, customers love Arlington. There's a 4.7 star rating and over 20,000 Google reviews online right now. I feel the love for sure, and you will too when you shop with our friends at Arlington Toyota. Don't wait. Now through September 3rd, shop the national sales event at Arlington Toyota. In person, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, or online anytime at arlingtontoyota.com.
Chelsea here. Summer is winding down, and so are prices at the Renewal by Andersen end of summer window and door sale. Upgrade your home with custom Fiberx windows and doors. Whether you need custom energy efficient, hurricane resistant windows, or a stylish patio door, we've got you covered. A better way to a better window. Visit us at bestwindowsflorida.com for details. Transform your home before fall with the end of summer sale. Proud partner of the Florida Gators. License number CGC 1527613.
Guys, feeling deflated in the bedroom? ED, low T, no energy? If your stuff is broken, call 904-STROKEN or 904stroken.com. No shots in the first treatment, now free. Fix your ED at 904stroken.com. Helmets and Heels.
It's a Big Chief Tire Monday. The local Jacksonville shop for fair prices and service you can trust.
Hello, First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn
the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Meet us at the bank Saturday, August 17th for a
1010XL.
When all you have is a hammer, everything is a nail. I'm Dr. George Bari, and like me, I know you have been bombarded with PRP and stem cell treatments from companies that promise the world and charge prices to match. Or the surgeon that convinced you the only way to treat your injuries through surgery. At Bari Orthopedics, we offer the best PRP treatment on the market with prices that won't cost you an arm and a leg. We also have the expertise to treat your injury surgically if that is what it entails. We can discuss all surgical and non-surgical options with you and make sure you get the best treatment available. Come see me, Dr. George Bari at Bari Orthopedics.
Hi, I'm Mac with Baker Glass. If you've got fogged up windows, let me help. We'll replace them with clear, insulated units that brighten up your home. People say we're fast, friendly, and reliable. Just check out our Google reviews. Call me today. Baker Glass. No one treats you better.
Hey sports fans, this is Hayes Carlyon from MyBookie. Are you ready for the ultimate college football season? Using MyBookie's sportsbook and casino platform, you can bet on every game and win anytime, anywhere, straight from your mobile device. No app needed. Just sign up at MyBookie.com and you're ready to rock. No matter who you're rooting for, there's no better way to experience the season than having action on the games. When you know your team well, it's an easy way to take advantage of props like team win totals or early picks for playoff contention. Last year, MyBookie had some of the best odds on the market for the Wolverines to win the championship, and Michigan bettors who backed their squad saw a 10% return on their wager. These type of bets highlight why it's worth it to lay an investment before the season begins. Lock your futures in now while you're waiting for the season to begin and use promo code 1010XL to claim a bonus up to $1,000 on that first deposit. That's promo code 1010XL to start the season with house money. Don't ever miss out on the action. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere. Only with MyBookie.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. That just happened. Brought to you by Florida Home AC, the official air conditioning partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Doug Peterson just wrapped up his first availability of the week with reporters at the Miller Electric Center. Big takeaways courtesy of our colleague Hayes Carlyon. First and foremost, Dewey Wingard could miss up to the first 6 games of the regular season. Doug Peterson, according to Demetrius Harvey of the Florida Times-Union, wouldn't put a timeline on it, but the expectation is that he will miss some time to begin the regular season. The good news, Anton Harrison fully cleared out of the concussion protocol. Eric Armstead likely coming off the PUP list next week. But obviously, ladies, the Dewey news coupled with the news yesterday that the Jaguars would be re-signing, we're going to call it a re-signing, a reunion with Deshaun Gibson, their former safety from 2016 to 2018, says that we don't know how serious this Dewey injury is, and I respect those of you who say, well, he's just a backup. He is as critical a backup as there is on this team. He is a captain. He's a core 4 special teamer. He is the heartbeat of this team.
Once you saw the Gibson news yesterday, it wasn't that surprising, other than the fact that he's missing the first 6
can't play at the same time.
games because of the suspension, and so the timeline doesn't coincide. Had he been able to play the first 6 games, then I think it would have made a lot more sense. But either way,
Justin
I understand.
Simmons is out there.
Yeah, I do understand that the Jaguars want an insurance policy, even if it is later in the season, and maybe Dewey's not ready
in
after
6 weeks.
6 weeks, right? That's the part that we don't know yet.
That's the part that that's where the Gibson signing comes in. This is an insurance policy. This is adding a veteran voice to that room for the next 3 weeks, and I understand he will be unavailable for those, if Dewey's to miss 6 games. He may be back in 4. He may not be back for another 8. And so that's where I think the Gibson signing is just a forward-thinking, hey, let's just get another veteran in a room that, while certainly with Darnell Savage, with Andre Sisco, it has veteran voices, but maybe not, I don't know, a 34-year-old who's been to a Super Bowl and an AFC championship game like Gibson. And so that's where I think that signing comes into play. But I do think the Dewey situation is interesting, especially when you consider Terrell Edmonds' impact, which you started to hit on, Taylor, in the first segment, in Saturday's preseason game.
Yeah, which you definitely, that's why I was saying that was a surprising, I guess not surprising, an exciting thing to see, because that was one of the guys, he did not make when we did our depth charts, but he was like on the cusp for me where I was like, I feel like this is a guy that I could see making the roster, because he's definitely had moments in his career where you're like, okay, this guy flashes. And then especially as a depth piece, though, that's somebody that you want to be able to see. That's another veteran that's been in the league now, has experience with good teams. at times. So it is somebody, the Gibson one confused me just because it'd be nice if you had somebody that could play when Dewey's not here. But, these next few weeks, you get somebody who can be a vocal leader in that room. You're expecting Antonio Johnson to be the guy anyways, but it would be nice, in my opinion, to have somebody who could step in and actually play in those first 4 or 5 weeks.
In good news, Anton Harrison was fully cleared of the concussion protocol, so he should be back, I would assume, today at practice. And then Eric Armstead, everyone's been wondering, when will he come off the PUP list? And Doug said today, likely next week. So we just had that conversation about his absence impacting this team moving forward. And so to get him in and actually get to see what it looks like as far as the defensive rotation once he's back alongside Devon Hamilton and Roy Robertson-Harris, how are they going to do that in preseason game 3? What is that going to look like? Because I don't expect any of those guys to play Saturday night against the Bucs. Certainly we'll get to see them in joint practices. But again, Eric Armstead not until next week.
Yeah, and I think another thing Hayes said, too, it was a big talking point because we saw Parker Washington with his big play. We saw the weird safety. They don't know the rules, apparently. And it wasn't the only game that the refs did not know what was going on when it came to this new kickoff. So it shows not only teams are trying to figure it out, but also the refs are. But in this, Hayes had tweeted that Doug doesn't believe there's a significant statistical difference between the opponent starting at 25 or 30. Jack's probably kicking it deep if opponent has an elite returner. So it seems like they don't feel like it's going to drastically change, but I do think that everybody's still figuring it out and how to really master this.
I was surprised more teams didn't kick it out the back of the end zone. And I know the Jags pseudo kind of did on the first kickoff of the game. I'm wondering if that was just Cam Little was really juiced up.
Excited.
I see some of you on the text line, Designed by Lifetime Enclosures, want to talk Cam Little. We're going to talk Cam Little later in the program.
We haven't gotten to special teams yet,
Look, I mean, that play doesn't happen, the Mecole Hardman miscue, if Cam Little doesn't perfectly place that ball in a weird corner of the field, in the coffin corner, if you may, for those of you who follow punting at the rate that Iowa fans like myself do. So that is, and now Taylor Dahl, because she now has acquired our savior, Tory Taylor. I think that is an underrated part of Cam's game. You're going to come away from Cam Little, whether he's kicking field goals or on kickoff duty, and you're going to say, wow, this kid's got a leg. But part of why Heath Farwell, and he has said this time and time again, was so fascinated by the 20-year-old was because of his ability to literally just hit darts on the field. And I'm very curious to see, once the regular season comes around, how that factors into some of the strategy of the new kickoff rules.
Yeah, the special teams were elite on the Jaguars side Saturday night. I would not say that about the Chiefs, but certainly for the Jaguars. I also found it funny.
They also just played smarter.
Yeah, absolutely.
In a lot of ways.
Yeah, I'm sure you saw this when you watched it on replay if you didn't see it live. And it's so funny to me when you go and watch Tank Bigsby's return and Harrison Butker is the last man standing for the Chiefs. And he wanted no part of tackling Tank. Had Tank not tripped up of his own volition on the field, then that's a touchdown because Butker would have just let him walk through. And that's probably a smart play if you're Harrison Butker. I probably wouldn't want to tackle Tank either at that point in time.
No, and that's the knock. And, I've had a couple of people around the league say this. The thought of, should we put a position player back there instead and have them kick off, which, by the way, the Chiefs did in the fourth quarter of Saturday's game. They had Luis Rees, I'm going to butcher his name, their international pathway player who played rugby in Australia. They had him kick off, and they experimented with that. And I think that is something you're going to see throughout the course of the preseason, if not into the regular season, because you're essentially playing a man down then. Because if that returner does break free, you are gambling. And you're saying that Cam Little, 180 pounds soaking wet, is going to be able to stop this guy. Who, I mean, look, we've said it, and that's another player that I know for those of us who've been at training camp, we feel validated to see Parker Washington have the night he did, especially because so many people in that building feel validated because they've heaped praise on him for all the work he's put in this offseason. The dude's legs are thicker than most running backs.
Yeah.
You think Cam Little, 185 pounds, is going to bring that guy down?
No way.
So, and that's where I think, again, you're going to see so many teams just tinkering with this. I know Gary Smitter was beside himself that Andy Reid didn't know the rules yet, but guess what? I don't fault Andy. No one really knows the rules yet.
It is. So we have someone coming on with us tomorrow from Sumer Sports that has covered every single kickoff in the XFL, and he's going to talk to us tomorrow about what he's seen in Hall of Fame game and then this last weekend. And I'm super interested at how this is going to work. I'm fascinated by how teams are doing it so differently. And also, I've heard a ton about that's why some of the teams are putting their punters out there, because they feel like the punters most times are bigger than their kickers. So they feel like if they have to be that last resort guy to tackle, they'll be able to do it. They're bigger guys. But there have been other teams that are practicing with a position player doing it because they need somebody who is able to make that play.
All right, the AP preseason top 25 is out. We will get to that when we return. You are listening to Helmets and Heels on a Big Chief Tire Monday. If you need anything for your vehicle, visit BigChiefTire.com. They've got 5 locations around town. It is 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Injured in an accident? Have mounting medical bills? Can't work? Don't worry. Zach's got your back. I'm Zach Von Rowan of Von Rowan Law. I will fight for the compensation that you deserve. Set up your free consultation at zachsgotyourback.com.
This right here is as good as it gets. This is life getting lived without obligations or complications. This is filling your cup and savoring the moment. This is the gift of presence, served to you in a place where there's room for everyone and enough to go around. And the best part, it's always Sonny's here. Sonny's Barbecue, local pitmasters since '68.
Mia O'Brien here for my friends at Duck Duck Rooter. If water flows through it, the team at Duck Duck can install it or repair it. From septic tank pump outs, drain field installations, clogged drains, water heaters to reed pipes, they do it all. And they do it well. But don't just take my word for it. Check out their Google reviews online and see what customers just like you are saying about their experience with Duck Duck Rooter. Duck Duck Rooter is a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit DuckDuckRooter.com to schedule service today.
It's a Big Chief Tire Monday on Helmets and Heels.
Looking to elevate your game night experience? Look no further than Best Bet. We're not just a card room, we're your destination for excitement, fun, and big wins. Whether you're a seasoned player or new to the game, we have something for everyone. Join us at Best Bet Jacksonville, Orange Park, or St. Augustine for thrilling tournaments, exciting promotions, and a vibrant atmosphere that will take your game night to the next level. Elevate your game night at Best Bet. Visit bestbetjacks.com to learn more. That's bestbetjacks.com.
Homeowners, good news for you. Accent on 4. Listen up. Loan Pronto now has mortgage rates that start with a 4. Prosser here. It's true. Mortgage rates have plummeted. So low, we haven't seen them in a long time. If your current rate is over 6%, you can dump it and lower your house payment big time. Loan Pronto just locked in a homeowner at 4.99% APR. So whether you got your loan last week, last month, or last year, it's time to call Loan Pronto. Even if you're in process with another lender, stop now. Call Loan Pronto. Ask about their zero-cost rate reduction home loan. You can lock in a lower rate with no closing costs in a matter of days, with almost no paperwork and usually no appraisal. And if you act now, you can even skip your next 2 house payments. Call now. Loan Pronto can give you a rate quote in minutes with no hard credit pull and no upfront fees like those other guys. Call 904-999-1508 or loanpronto.com. Call 904-999-1508. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781. Owner approved credit, NMLS consumeraccess.org.
RJ Saunders here, sports lovers. I recently took a tip from Frank Frangie when I needed to send flowers to my mother. Frank told me that Kuhn Flowers is the only florist he ever uses. So that's what I do now. I use Kuhn Flowers. Find them online at kuhnflowers.com.
This date in sports history is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On August 12, 2007, Tiger Woods wins his 4th PGA Championship, defending his title up at the Southern Hills Country Club, winning 2 shots ahead of Woody Austin.
There are 3 certainties in life: death, taxes, and if you stay in your home long enough, a new roof. Pick it here for our friends at Lockhart Roofing. Nobody better in Jacksonville. How do I know? They are a local certified Master Elite contractor, and that means they have a GAF Master Elite warranty. That's the best in the roofing industry. In this day and age, don't settle for cheaper discount roofers. Lockhart Roofing has been here for decades. They aren't going anywhere. Call my friends at Lockhart Roofing, 994-3851. That's 994-3851. Lockhart Roofing, Jacksonville's best for Jacksonville people.
This year, Dell Technologies' Back to School event is delivering impressive tech with an inspiring purpose. Learn how Dell is helping Computer Aid, whose work is helping solar community hubs with tech and AI literacy skills to empower remote, displaced, or disconnected communities around the world. Help Dell make a difference and shop AI-ready PCs powered by Snapdragon X Series processors at Dell.com/deals. That's Dell.com/deals.
At the First Coast YMCA, you'll find much more than just a gym. We offer many ways to help you be active, reach weight loss goals, and find your inner strength while you connect with your community. Family memberships at the Y include unlimited group exercise classes, childcare while you work out, and youth sports participation. It's easy to join the Y and affordable for all. Plus, the Y is a great place to meet a new circle of friends. Visit the Y near you or online at fcymca.org.
Navy Mutual was created by service members for service members, so we know what it means to serve. Our policies have no active duty service restrictions, so you can rest assured that you're covered no matter your duty station, home or abroad. To go even further, we promise that premiums will not be higher for those who serve in dangerous environments, including aviation, diving, or on deployments. Let us help you protect those you love the most. Learn more at NavyMutual.org.
Daytona always brings the drama.
Everything's on the line. The risk will be higher.
3 wide.
Look how insane this is.
Gunning to keep playoff hopes alive. It's now or never.
It's the most stressful night of racing that you'll ever go through.
For an unforgettable weekend of family fun, high wattage star power, and a front row seat full of fireworks. NASCAR weekend at Daytona International Speedway, August 23rd and 24th. Get your tickets now at DaytonaInternationalSpeedway.com.
This is Dr. Kevin Kaplan, head team physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jags, brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
The Jaguars locked down the bank with their victory over the Chiefs Saturday night, 26-13. Head coach Doug Peterson highlighted 2 big plays post-game: Washington's kickoff return and Trevor's touchdown to ETN.
With the returns, it was all new. Obviously, it's things we've been working on. Just a really good return by Parker, but there were also some good blocks on that play. He ran tough, physical run. Great way to really, start our offense and get the game rolling for us. And then, Trevor to ETN on the play, just a nice one-on-one matchup. It was an angle route by ETN, and he just did a great job setting up the backer and, good throw.
I'm Molly McDonald with your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguars update.
XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
This is Helmets and Heels.
Kept classy by First Coast Lighting and Fans. Upscale lighting, fans, and home decor.
On 1010XL.
Leo O'Brien, Taylor Dahl, Dylan Denmark filling in for RJ Saunders. I'm Lauren Brooks. Dylan, how's it working with the ladies?
I don't know, just like the dudes.
All right.
About the same.
That's a perfect answer.
Love it. Y'all sound a little different.
And smell a little different, perhaps, as well.
I think that's a good thing, though.
All right, the AP Top 25 is out, and no surprise, Georgia is number 1.
It headlines, the Dogs headline, 9 teams from the SEC ranked in the first the preseason AP poll.
Right, and look, the stat from Brett McMurphy is, I think, fascinating. Because again, Georgia number 1 over Ohio State number 2. 18 of the last 20 AP preseason number 1 teams failed to win the national title, including Georgia last year. So yes, you can get excited that the Dogs are number 1, but if the statistics hold true, you should be concerned that you're not going to win it all.
Yeah, let's, I guess when you start looking, especially with this expanded playoff, it's going to just be so interesting because I do truly believe that every team that is in the race for the playoff is going to think they have a chance at the national champion, to be a national champion. So it's just now expanded everything in all of these teams. So if you're taking this, you're talking about Mizzou, you're talking about Florida State, you're talking about Michigan, Penn State, Notre Dame. Like if you were just taking what this AP Top 25 looks like right now, all of those teams at this moment are like, okay, we have a chance to win it all.
They certainly do.
As far as discrepancies between the coaches poll, which came out last week, and this AP preseason poll, not a whole heck of a lot. I think the biggest difference that I can see is all of 2 spots, and that would be one NC State, 22nd in the coaches poll, 24th in the AP preseason poll. And aside from that, you have a couple of flip-flops, i.e. you have Utah at 12 in the AP preseason poll. Utah was 13th in the coaches poll, and LSU was 12th, Mizzou 11th. So pretty much held up for the most part, held serve between the 2 preseason polls. The top 10's identical. Georgia's at the top. Ohio State at 2, Oregon, Texas, Alabama. Put a little pin in that because we'll circle back to it. Ole Miss, Notre Dame, Penn State, Michigan, the defending national champions. Yes, check in at number 9 in the AP poll. They were 8th in the coaches poll, and then Florida State at 10th. And what's the most interesting one for me is Alabama at 5, because I wasn't so sure Kalen DeBoer would get quite as much respect, whether from the coaches or the AP voters, heading into his first season in Tuscaloosa. I think his late recruiting wins in the summer here have certainly played a factor into that. I think a renewed interest in Jalen Milroe is a big factor as to why that offensive line taking the next step. But I do think it's interesting because I didn't think people would be as high on the Crimson Tide as they are.
That's Alabama's lowest ranking in the preseason since it was number 5 in 2009. Do you remember who won the national championship in 2009?
Auburn?
Alabama.
Oh, never mind. Never mind. 1 year off. 1 year off.
They're not worried, I feel like.
Right, yeah. I think, Auburn would have been 2010 with Cam.
Doing math in my head there. Math is hard.
So, again, thanks to Brett McMurphy for this stat. What is the significance of those top 7 teams? Again, Georgia, Ohio State, Oregon, Texas, Alabama, Ole Miss, and Notre Dame. Odds are this year's national champion will be one of those 7 since 2004. So for the last 20 years, every national champion was ranked among the AP preseason's top 7 teams, except for Florida State in 2013. They started number 11, so just outside. And then Auburn in 2010 started 22nd. Now, nobody knew what Auburn was going to be like that year with Cam Newton, but certainly Florida State in 2013 with Jameis Winston, they should have probably been ranked a little higher.
Don't tease me.
Yeah.
Don't tease me.
I think a little bit higher for that one. The Cam one's certainly an outlier.
Yeah.
And I think you could say if you subtract Quinn Ewers and Carson Beck from the Heisman Trophy race, and Dylan Gabriel, since technically he is also under center for the number 3 team, you could have someone emerge from the middle of the pack. Heck, I mean, I've said it before and I'll say it again. Garrett Nussmeier's been in the system for Brian Kelly at LSU. They're sitting at 13th in the AP poll. Again, they are 12th in the coaches. And so if they're able to put it together, if that defense is able to
figure something out,
simply be competent compared to last year, now all of a sudden, I'm not saying he's going
as
to
half
have
of them are here in Jacksonville.
Right. I'm not going to say he's going to have a Cam Newton type season. But I'm saying that Jaden Daniels last year did not have a Cam Newton type season, but he still had a Heisman year, and they came from the back of the pack to emerge as, and imagine if they had had a competent defense, someone who could contend for the SEC, and if nothing else, be one of the greater offensive spectacles in the sport.
So Florida State, number 10. Where is Miami? Number 19 on this list. And where is Florida? Not ranked. And I bring that point up to tell you that most people already are aware of how difficult Florida's schedule is, but Florida starts the season, of course, with 19th ranked Miami, then plays host a couple weeks later to 20th ranked Texas A&M, travels to number 15 Tennessee, Kentucky not in the top 25 as of now, Georgia, of course, number 1, Texas number 4, LSU 13th, Ole Miss 6th, and Florida State 10th. That's how Florida finishes the year. 1, 4, 13, 6, and 10.
I feel like a lot of people, when we have talked about that Florida-Miami game, a lot of people have talked about how good they think Miami can be, but can see Miami losing week 1. What happens to Miami if that happens right away? They're out?
I don't think so.
Of
because
the top 25?
They'd be out of the top 25.
Yeah.
But as far as out of the college football playoff race, no, because they could still win the ACC.
And by the way, Florida fans, I would love to tell you at least received some votes in the AP preseason poll like you did the coaches poll. Not the case.
Billy Napier can't vote for Florida.
No, it wasn't just Billy, Lauren. Florida actually received, hold on, I think it was 4 votes. Let me double check. They received more than just Billy. Hold on. There we go. They had 11 votes in the coaches poll. So there were 10 other coaches.
Those are other people that like Billy.
That voted for Florida. Here are the teams that did receive votes in today's AP preseason poll. Louisville checks in the would-be 26th spot. Of course, the runner-ups in the ACC a year ago. Virginia Tech, Boise State, SMU, Iowa State, Liberty, Washington, West Virginia, Memphis, Nebraska, Wisconsin, UTSA, Tulane, App State, Kentucky, Auburn, Colorado with 1. There's Dion. He somehow still has an AP vote.
Is Iowa 25 in both?
Iowa is 25 in both. Iowa State's receiving votes in both.
Yeah.
So again, look, it's a preseason poll. It's kind of like preseason games. You can put in as much stock into them as you want. But if you want a chip on your shoulder, Florida, here you go. Here's some more ammo.
So since we're talking college football, the SEC Network football anthem this year will be performed by Luke Combs, and he is covering Tom Petty's Running Down a Dream. So 16 teams and Luke Combs to go alongside covering Tom Petty.
What does that mean for Florida?
Yeah, I know, right? That's true. That's a good omen. That's the good omen you needed, Gator fans. What was that I saw, Lauren, about Jelly Roll? Isn't he like, that might
He's
be
doing
game
ESPN.
day.
Yeah,
he's doing
that's game
ESPN.
day.
Okay,
Yeah.
No offense to Luke, but I feel like that's almost bigger, Dylan. Like, right? Like if you're doing the game day open.
Over ESPN, you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a
Game
big...
day is certainly viewed by more people.
Right, that's a bigger...
than SEC Network.
Right, that's a bigger honor. So shout out to Jelly Roll, man. I mean, what a life, what a career.
Yeah, he's come a long way. I'll just put it that way. If you've listened to his music, that will tell you more. All right, let's get it back to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Mia was in the locker room Saturday night following the Jaguars' 26-13 victory over the Chiefs. You caught up with one Christian Kirk, who I'm sure Mia was happy to be back on that field.
Yes, let's hear from Christian Kirk. I went one-on-one with him. Yes, I know there were some of you who were like, did he even play? Yes, he did play.
Barely, but
He was on the field. He was not supposed to be playing a lot. But I was most curious to hear from him what he thought of some of those younger wide receivers.
All right, here we go. First things first, obviously, first preseason game. Everybody pretty much comes out of it healthy. How important is that for you guys?
I think it's huge, just for our development as a team, and especially in each individual room, guys that are competing for roster spots. I think it's big. Anytime you can go out there, show what you can do, and move on healthy and go into a big week like this week with a joint practice.
Did you guys on the first team want more reps, or you felt pretty satisfied with 2 drives?
You kind of got to play devil's advocate a little bit. You get out there, you start going, and you want a little bit more, but it's good to be smart. But we'll get some good work this week, and then probably following up the last preseason game, get out there a little bit more. But I like what we were able to go out there and do as a first unit.
Walk us through BT's big 41-yard catch.
Yeah, I was jumping up and down like a little kid after he made it. But it's just been good, for him to get out there and make a big play like that. And I know there will be plenty more of those coming this season.
How about Dev's touchdown?
Yeah, I didn't even think he saw the ball at first. And to be able to track it, find it, and then use his closing speed to be able to make the play, I think it was big. Just all night. I mean, Parker as well, making the plays that he did. I think just as a group from our young guys, just making those big plays was awesome to see.
What are you guys doing on the sideline as Parker's making that play, as Devin's making that touchdown once you're out of the game?
Yeah, no, like I said, I was jumping up and down like a little girl. I got to fix my celebrations on the sideline, my reactions, because I'm just jumping up and down. But I think all of us are just so excited for them because we know how big, those moments are for them, and to go out there and really show what they can do and make big plays like that.
Parker in particular, I know, is a guy you've taken under your wing. You guys have told us every time you've had an opportunity that you got to be on your lookout for him.
Yeah.
What did tonight mean for you guys, having been supporting him, pushing him throughout this process?
It's just been awesome. He does everything the right way, comes in with the right attitude. He's consistent, and you just see him wanting to get better. And he soaks in all the information that you tell him, and he truly cares about doing the right thing and going out there and being the best player that he can be. So I'm just so proud of him and just how far he's come. Obviously last year battling some injuries, but this year now that he's healthy, he's taking advantage of every single opportunity that he's given. And I think that's the most important part.
So you've seen the sideline memes already?
I haven't. Are there some?
Oh, they broke down BT's catch. You and Trevor, Cam, Gabe.
Yeah. Oh, it's perfect. I can't wait to go home and look at them all because I know they probably got me on there pretty good.
He was obviously pretty pumped. Trevor Lawrence was pumped. Cam Robinson, Gabe Davis. Gabe Davis is also trying to get Brian Thomas Jr. a date.
I know. I saw he was like, he's single.
Look, and I'm sure there's those of you out there.
I would have been so embarrassed if
I
I
know,
was
me
BTJ.
BTJ literally looked like he saw a ghost. He was like, oh my God, I can't believe he just said this. But here's the thing that I will tell you. So I know there are those of you who are like, oh my God, I'm so sick of camp and all these same questions about breaking him out of his shell and this and that and the other. Both Christian Kirk and Press Taylor have said that Gabe Davis is the one in that room who, him being fully healthy, being available full-time, since he was obviously brought along a little bit slower during the off-season program and during the first week or so of training camp as he recovered from his own injury. Having Gabe around, that is where the riling up, the opening of the shell, getting Brian Thomas Jr. to open up, that is where a lot of it is going to come from, just by virtue of Gabe's personality. And if you didn't believe us when we said it, you did after Saturday night.
It's like that moment, when the quiet kid stands up and has like a really good voice and everyone's like, oh, that's BTJ when he made that catch. Everyone was like, he's not speaking much, but he speaks on the field and that's what counts the most. And it was that moment where the whole team even felt that. And the vibe of this wide receiver room is really fun to watch right now because they just get along so well. Every team, you feel like they support each other unless you have Stephon Diggs in certain moments. I don't know if you guys saw that, by the way.
Wait, we're going to have to circle back to that in the 1 o'clock hour because, yes. We also have some other interesting sound from around the AFC South we need you to get to in the 1 o'clock hour.
But moments like that, it's fun because that is him breaking out of his shell. He's not going to be rah-rah, but he will be that guy that's going to make those catches, and that is BTJ breaking out of his shell.
I tweeted it during the game, Lauren, and I will stand by it. Screw it. BTJ down there somewhere. Trevor Lawrence, week 14 of the 2024 season. It's going to happen. Hashtag just remember.
I think that, to me, is the biggest part of watching Saturday night is C.J. Beathard, while he is a great backup, does not have the arm that Trevor Lawrence has. And so, yes, these catches were great, and certainly the BTJ catch was so fun to watch. But just imagine when Trevor Lawrence is the one actually throwing the football to these guys and they're able to keep running after the catch. That's what we didn't get to see Saturday night.
They're not having to come back in to get it.
Correct. And again, those are great catches. Just like last week in practice when Gabe Davis on air threw a ball to Trevor Lawrence in the end zone and he had to track the ball because it was underthrown. That's what those guys had to deal with Saturday night. And again, Trevor is obviously able to throw a much better ball than C.J. Beathard. Mac Jones, I think, also we were able to witness, or people who haven't been to camp yet. I tweeted this out during the game, just a quick poll. I only let it go for 10 minutes, but I just was curious of the fans' reaction. Do you want to see Trevor play more tonight? And about 150 people said, yes, he needs the reps. That was after just the first series. Okay. I voted no.
I wanted more.
No, I said I didn't care either way, really. Obviously, when you're in the press box, the more Trevor you get to see, the more fun it is in a preseason game. But at the same time, you got also to see him sacked. And so that was not fun. You didn't want to see a play like that. And obviously both Doug and Trevor did not think that was that big of a deal. But
because he was recognizing don't just throw it, which is a huge development.
It certainly is. And so I think in the end, about 60% of people said they wanted to see him play more. About 40% of people said just keep him healthy. And really, the question was derived from the fact that he did suffer so many injuries last year, and God forbid we had seen that Saturday night. All right, we've got more to do, more players to hear from, as well as Taylor has a tangent in the 1 o'clock hour. You are listening to Helmets and Heels on a Big Chief Tire Monday on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Dan Hicken.
Doesn't it make your sphincter tingle?
Jeff Prosser.
I understand you're pretty funny as a DJ, and, well, comedy is a kind of hobby of mine. Well, actually, it's a little more than just a hobby.
Weekday mornings.
Reader's Digest is considering publishing 2 of my jokes.
Really?
On 1010XL. Now you can watch 1010XL shows all day on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Brought to you by MyBookie. Experience Vegas from the comfort of your phone anytime, anywhere. Sign up today. Use promo code 1010XL.
At Hodges Mazda, what Mazda moves you? Find out. Lauren Brooks here. Come test drive the Mazda CX-90, engineered to fit your lifestyle. Take advantage of 1.9% APR for up to 72 months on a 2024 Mazda CX-90, the largest 3-row SUV that Mazda offers. The professional non-commissioned sales team always puts your best interests first. And you'll get 2 years free maintenance. Visit Hodges Mazda today or shop online at HodgesMazda.com to discover the Hodges Mazda difference. See dealer for details. Terms and fees for qualified applicants expire September 3rd, 2024.
Mia here. Are you ready for the ultimate college football season? Using MyBookie Sportsbook and casino platform, you can bet on every game and win anytime, anywhere, straight from your mobile device, no app needed. Just sign up at MyBookie.com and you're ready to rock. Whether you're rooting for your alma mater or your favorite team, there's no better way to experience the season than having action on the games. When you know your team well, it's an easy way to take advantage of props like team win totals or early picks for playoff contention. Last year, MyBookie had some of the best odds on the market for the Wolverines to win the national championship, and Michigan bettors who backed their squad saw a 10 times return on their wager. These types of bets highlight why it's worth it to lay an investment before the season begins. Lock your futures in now while you're waiting for the season to begin, and use promo code 1010XL to claim a bonus up to $1,000 on that first deposit. That's promo code 1010XL to start the season with house money. Don't ever miss out on the action. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere, only with MyBookie.
Does the building you go to work in every day need a little love and attention? Jason Parker here with Performance Painting. Great companies take great care of the buildings their staff and customers walk into every day. If the building you're in doesn't match the vision you have for your company, we can help. Go to performance-painting.com. Our highly trained team makes the difference. Quality coatings applied with pride.
Performance Painting.
Has someone you care about been arrested or had their driver's license taken away? I'm Susan Cohen, and I work with David Robbins at the law firm of Epstein & Robbins. We are experienced fighters for those charged with DUI, domestic violence, and all criminal offenses. In your battle with the justice system, there's only one thing you need to know. Dial David 24/7 at Epstein & Robbins, 354-5645. 354-5645.
It's a Big Chief Tire Monday. The local Jacksonville shop for fair prices and service you can trust.
Baloo here for Smunez Vision. Why Smunez Vision? Well, I've been with Dr. Neil Smunez now since I got back to Jacksonville in 2006. 37 years of experience he has. Smunez Vision is a family organization that focuses on personal high-quality medical and surgical eye care. Dr. Catherine Smunez is fellowship trained in cornea and cataract surgery and all refractive surgery. Combined, that's 30 years plus in laser eye surgery. Visit SmunezVision.com today. Care you can see.
Hey, Jacksonville Cougies, it's me, Soccer Sam, for Salvatore's Pizza. Rochester, New York's favorite pizza is now open in Jacksonville, Florida, Tapestry Park at the Loft Hotel Plaza. Daily $10 deals, dine in with beer and wine, and delivery at salvatores.com. The famous Formoso family brings Salvatore's Pizza, Rochester's favorite pizza, including our 32-piece sheet pizza for your next event. Go with me, baby. Salvatores.com.
I'm Ben from Beard's Diamonds. My father and I buy our stones direct from the diamond cutters. No middleman, no big company overhead, no commission salespeople, and we pass the savings on to you. Before you buy anywhere else, remember, Beard's Diamonds will beat any competitor's price.
In the St. John's Town Center or at beardsdiamonds.com.
After consulting with several orthopedic specialists about my constant knee pain, I chose Southeast Orthopedic Specialist and Dr. Chris Swanson to handle my surgery. Their professionalism let me know this team was the one for me. The surgery was very successful, and if I ever have a future need, I'll continue to trust Southeast Orthopedic Specialists to take care of me.
Relieve pain and get back to life. SOS. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Mike Dempsey here for the 20-pound summer slim down with Awaken 180 weight loss. Drop 20 pounds before summer ends and cruise into fall with a new routine of better health. Do what I did and find your results with the solution for weight loss at awaken180weightloss.com.
The flagship station of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
This is Hayes Carline for Kingfish Pest Control, a local family-owned business that's been chosen as the exclusive pest control provider for the brand new state-of-the-art Miller Electric Performance Center. As a Kingfish customer myself, I know their effectiveness in keeping spiders, roaches, bugs, and termites out. When I trust them for my family and the Jags trust them for their business, then you can too. For the best service in town, call my friends at Kingfish Pest Control, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Hey Jacksonville, it's Lauren Brooks from Helmets and Heels. This summer, Big Chief is partnering with local nonprofit V for Victory to help local families affected by cancer. You can make a difference and support local families by dropping off school supplies at any Big Chief Tire location. As a thank you, you'll receive 10% off your next service. Visit BigChiefTire.com or call 904-932-0950 for more details. Big Chief Tire keeps Jacks rolling.
This is Molly McDonald with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp fall to the Mud Hens 7-8 in extra innings on Saturday night in Toledo. The Mud Hens overcame a 5-run deficit, beat the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp with a double to start the frame in the 7th inning. The Shrimp rallied back in Sunday's game, beating the Mud Hens 7-6 to split the series. The Jumbo Shrimp travel back home to start their 6-game series against the Memphis Redbirds starting tomorrow down at 1-1 Financial Ballpark with first pitch at 7:05. Over in Gainesville, where the Gators had their first scrimmage of fall camp this past Saturday. According to multiple reports, redshirt sophomore tackle Jamari Lyons went down in Saturday's scrimmage suffering a serious lower body injury and was carted off the field. Lyons was expected to play a major role in the defensive line rotation this season. Coach Napier will meet with media later today and is expected to give an update on Lyons. It's 93 degrees at 1 o'clock. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Helmets and Heels is switched on by
First Coast Lighting and Fans.
Upscale lighting, fans, and home decor on 1010XL.
For the shoe, beat the Broncos. Let's show them who the real horse is. This is our team. Go Colts!
I almost wanted him to have, like, when you're DJing and you like I wanted that in the break of Michael Jackson, and then here we are. What's his name? Taylor and Dylan Denmark, this Colts fan.
I don't know his name.
I don't even know.
But they're the Better Horse.
The Better Horse podcast. As we begin the 1 o'clock hour here on a Monday, a Big Chief Tire Monday edition of Helmets and Heels. The nay. Play the nay one more time, Dylan. As we take a little trip. As we take a trip around the AFC South and around the preseason's first week of 2024, what better way to do it than with a little and a look at the Colts' loss to Bo Nix and the Denver Broncos.
Yeah,
Did you
Bo
catch any?
Nix
Yeah,
looked great. He was one of the more impressive rookie quarterbacks this weekend, honestly. And I know a lot of people were talking about J.J. McCarthy. J.J. McCarthy, to me, had like one incredible throw, and that was where most of his yardage came out of, in my opinion. Bo Nix, his entire time he was in the game, to me, looked really, really good.
Yeah, it's why I've been surprised that we haven't had a definitive thing from Sean Payton that he's going to be the starter, just because that's what I expected of him. I think we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about Caleb Williams, though, Taylor.
Yeah. Caleb, he looked great. I'm just trying to not get too excited. It was a preseason game, but yeah, he fits some throws into windows that just look impossible. He looked so comfortable in this offense, and there were just several moments during this game where I was like, okay, just get a hold of yourself, Taylor. Don't get too excited. It's one game, it's one preseason game, but I mean, when you go on and you're seeing all of these guys already, Baldy broke it down, QB, Orlovsky, everybody breaking down his film already of how on the move, he's just incredible. And they were all like, already he's one of the better quarterbacks. And this is obviously early, it's one preseason game, but on the run, movement, the way he's able to place the ball in certain situations, obviously you want to see that. And once the games that matter happen, but yeah, it was really fun to watch. And I think that him and Bo Nix, in my opinion, had the two best rookie performances for their first.
Bears defeat the Bills 33-6. I bring this up only because the Jaguars will face the Bills week 3 of the 2024 season. And while certainly the expectation is Josh Allen will be under center, already seen plenty of reporters up there in Orchard Park, including our friend Ryan O'Halloran, say that the search for a backup quarterback has renewed up in Buffalo. And I have to ask Taylor, that came after a 10 of 18 performance from old friend alert Mitchell Trubisky. Yeah. Did Trubisky really look like he struggled all that much? Was it the backup quarterbacks behind him on the depth chart, or was this just a matter of the Bears just had everything clicking and there was nothing the Bills could do to stop them?
Yeah, the Bears defense honestly looked really good. Even they got Austin Booker in the 5th round in this draft, and it was somebody that Ryan Poles traded a next year pick to move up, get him, because obviously we took Torrey Taylor with the last draft pick, and Austin Booker looked absolutely insane. Like the word people were on Twitter were saying was he looks possessed. Like he was just after the quarterback. Nobody had a chance. Not Josh Allen, not Mitchell Trubisky. It was just it was one of those games where our defensive line dominated their offensive line, which is interesting because I did a pregame with it, and this is relative to obviously when you're looking forward to playing the Bills. And he said, because I was like, you lost not only Mitch Morse, but also their backup center, which the Bears got, and Ryan Bates. Mm-hmm. So both of their centers are gone from what Josh Allen's used to playing behind. So they're kind of reworking that. I think it'll ease in. They're confident in what they have on their offensive line. His biggest concern, which the Bears absolutely gutted, he said they're highly concerned about their safeties. And
that, of course, is because they lost both Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer in the offseason. Yep. Two guys who've been there, it feels like, forever.
Yep. And so you have DeMar Hamlin out there who, look, I mean, we know his story and it's incredible, but he's a backup. And that's kind of, you saw that yesterday. They really took advantage of that. So I think that's something that when you're looking at Jacksonville and when they look forward to facing the Bills, take advantage of those safeties because they looked awful.
A few updates from Jaguars practice. Anton Harrison is back out there, so that's good news. He did clear concussion protocol, and Tashawn Gibson is already out there.
All right.
So number 47 is what he will wear this season. And then a Florida update, Jamari Lyons, if you followed the story over the weekend, you knew that he suffered some sort of lower body injury. Billy Napier meeting with media now. He did announce that Jamari Lyons will miss the season after suffering a broken ankle. And so as far as the defensive tackle room is concerned, you've got Desmond Watson, Big Des, who is massive, and Joey Slackman, who transferred to Florida from Penn State.
How heavy is Big Des right now? I know he's
probably like 440.
So he's still in the fours?
I would assume.
I thought he was sub 400.
No,
still up there?
No, he's listed at 449. So my guess of 440 is very accurate. Yeah, no, I don't know that he'll ever get
the laws of
below
gravity.
I know,
because the dude can move. I mean, for a guy who's 449, the dude can move. Lauren, any other preseason games you found yourself watching this weekend in the NFL?
I watched a ton of them. I just don't enjoy watching them. That's the difference.
So who did you hate watch this weekend?
All of them. That's my thing. Even in the press box, everybody knew I'm not excited about preseason football because it just makes me incredibly nervous. And now, if you're a team like the Bears, then I understand. You've got a rookie quarterback you want to watch, and the other quarterbacks like we talked about, the Commanders with Jaden Daniels, you want to see what you got. And, Bo Nix and certainly even Drake May as well with the Patriots. You want to see what you have. We know what we have in Trevor Lawrence, so that's why preseason for me is just, I'm on pins and needles, concerned about injury. But I thought Sean McVay yesterday during the broadcast was fantastic. And since I'm a Florida fan, not a Georgia fan, and Dylan Denmark will echo my comments, watching Stetson Bennett throw not one, not two, not three, but 4 interceptions. Not another quarterback in all of the preseason threw more than one. No other quarterback threw more than one interception all
because no one else
long.
played the full game besides
he also
him.
had some rockets, though. I was like, whoo, that one pass, the one touchdown he had, zipped.
Did he look noticeably more muscular and slightly skinnier to you? Because that was what jumped off the page.
More muscular and skinnier?
Yes. I know it's weird to say both, but if you actually
look as thick but more muscular.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Leaner. That's what you're saying.
More, leaner and more muscular. I
the
think
Hobbit hair is what got me. But again, that's from my perspective.
He was in a Hobbit hole for a couple of months there. So, hey, but we're glad to hear he's back. And, Mina Kimes brought up a great point, and we're going to let whatever sideline Stetson last year be kept between him and his family. But Mina said, much akin to, and you guys knew that this analogy was coming, and if you didn't, it's the one you needed. Much akin to everyone who wanted Caitlin Clark on the United States women's national team this summer at the Olympics. So many people have commented how it probably was the best thing for her mentally to take a break because she has literally been playing basketball, competitive basketball at the highest level for 18 straight months. Yeah. Yes, Stetson's situation, very different from at least what we've heard comparatively to Caitlin. I do think that Mina brought up a great point on that broadcast, which is he literally was going 2 years nonstop, nothing but Georgia football, right into the NFL, right into, oh my goodness, the Rams took him in the 4th round. They actually think he could be Stafford's backup. And mentally, that is taxing. And perhaps the best thing for him was to take that step back, to take last year away from the team. I thought he looked good. Yes, I know there's 4 picks, but you couldn't deny for a guy who hasn't
Trevor had 4 picks in a playoff game.
For a guy who hasn't played football in a year, I thought he looked pretty good.
Yeah,
and also he won, which is really all that
whole
matters.
Game. I just saw glimpses, but there were a few throws that I saw from him, and I think Mina Kimes actually quote tweeted one of them where I was like, "Oh, that was a good pass." But these are some of the guys that when you go to even like some of these quarterback battles, that's not a battle. But when you're looking at like a Bo Nix and a J.J. McCarthy and a Michael Penix and Jaden Daniels has that job, we know that. But there's some of these guys, I think it's going to be really fascinating to watch how everything kind of plays out and what we are seeing. And more so, let's say like 2-3 years where some of these guys are sitting with their teams. Like I feel like most of us think that Bo Nix is going to be starting at some point this year. I think that some people say J.J. McCarthy, no way. Some people are like, he looked too good not to throw him in at certain points. We'll see with a Michael Penix. I don't know. That was my tangent. I wasn't here Friday, but the tangent I sent in was, they lost a weapon, one of their main weapons that was supposed to be that. So now they're kind of counting on Drake London and Darnell Mooney to be their guys. So if that works out, great. If not, they're going to be staring at, we could have had Rome Odunze.
What if I told you 4 years ago, there's a chance Zach Wilson's out of the league?
It's wild.
4 years from now.
I mean, I probably would have believed it, honestly.
Denny Thompson said it to me then, and I thought it was a little far-fetched, even though I knew the boomer bust skill set that existed there. But man, oh man, that's where we're trending to. And to your point about Bo Nix eventually being the starter in Denver, I give kudos to Sean Payton for making the rookie earn it. But at this point in time, I mean, like you said, he was the best of the three quarterbacks. Yeah. And we can go through the song and dance for another week, and I think they will. I think now when you look at the depth chart, it will say Jarrett Stidham, then it will say Bo Nix, then it'll say Zach Wilson. I'm curious. I don't know if they have joint practices this week, if that factors into it at all. Like, do you say, Lauren, in the case of a rookie quarterback, whether it's Bo Nix or Caleb Williams-Taylor, a little bit closer to home for you, do you say, yes, traditionally, if your starters are in the midst of, joint practices, I'm not going to throw them out for the game that weekend. But with these rookie quarterbacks, do you say, too darn bad, you need more reps?
Yeah.
And especially if you're Bo Nix and you're in a quarterback competition.
The Broncos will practice against the Packers Friday.
All right.
That will be their joint practice.
Okay. Do we know have we heard a timeline at all about Jordan Travis? Do you guys know? Like,
oh, in terms of his recovery?
Yeah.
I mean, he was throwing like this off season.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm just wondering if we're going to see him at all, because that's
I think he's still on the PUP list.
Okay.
I would think he still is, but I mean, he was throwing, so technically,
I'm just wondering. I haven't heard anything, so that's why I was curious.
It's fascinating, and the Jets were so intentional with going out and getting Tyrod Taylor and outbidding the Giants for him, as we saw on HBO Hard Knocks, because of what happened a year ago with Zach Wilson, and I give them credit for that. I also have question marks for some other teams around the league, and I look at Mac Jones and the ball coming out of his hand differently comparatively to C.J. Beathard, and I say, if you're the Los Angeles Chargers with Justin Herbert battling plantar fasciitis, are you going to get on the phone and call Trent Baalke? Because the Jets don't need to, even if Jordan Travis, who maybe he's their long-term guy, maybe he's not, even if he's not ready at the start of the year, you have Tyrod Taylor, who has won games in this league, has started dozens of games in this league. And I think that's where, especially seeing so many of you in the text line, in the MyBookie Digital Studio chat debating CJ versus Mac, that's where I look at the Jaguar situation at that position. I look at their situation at left tackle, and I say depth is a luxury in the National Football League. The Jacksonville Jaguars have it. I'm not sure some other teams do at that quarterback position and elsewhere.
Can you believe Tyrod Taylor's going in year 14?
Yeah. As of July 18th, Rich Cimini retweeted and reported that Jordan Travis was placed on the non-football injury list.
Okay.
So he didn't start on PUP. He's going to start on the NFI list, which is a little different. And of course, he didn't play over the weekend. I know that he both fractured and dislocated the ankle back, what was that, December?
Yeah.
And so...
Right. No, November. It was November. Early November, yeah.
Yeah. So, because it was before Florida State. That's always Thanksgiving. Yeah. So, late in football season. And so, I don't know the timeline to your question, but I would expect we probably don't see him much this season as he recovers and things like that. But, depth is certainly something that's... If you love preseason football, it's because you really want to figure out who's going to be on the 53-man roster as far as who's those... You know the ones for the most part across the league, but who are the twos?
Or you have a team that has a position battle, and there's a lot of those. Like, we've been in that position here where genuinely, like, you were watching this game because you didn't know who was going to be starting at a certain position, and it's nice to not have to worry about that. It's nice that the Jags have built their roster enough to where we're watching these games because of depth.
As we put a bow on this Around the NFL opening segment of the 1 o'clock hour, Taylor, inform us, enlighten us, give us the latest when it comes to Stephon Diggs, C.J. Stroud, and the Houston Texans.
Yeah, it was interesting because the video got posted by a Bills, I saw it, from one of the Bills reporters or beat guys, and he posted, it was him and C.J. Stroud kind of going back and forth, and everybody, you can tell.
Diggs and Stroud.
You can tell that Bills fans are very salty towards Stephon Diggs. You can just tell by the comments of how much they were like, oh, yeah, have fun with this, blah, 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 which that happens when your wide receiver kind of throws a little bit of a tantrum and forces their way out of your organization. You're going to feel that way. To me, it honestly looked more like a conversation. It didn't look like they were fighting. Like you could see Stroud responding and he was kind of going back and forth, but a lot of other people took it a different way. So we will see. I don't know if maybe more so people were saying it looked like him having a diva moment. To me, it looked like he was kind of explaining a route, like he was showing him like kind of had a running motion, and CJ responded, and then he kind of came back. But we're already seeing some videos of that, so we'll see how that kind of plays out.
Yeah, I mean, I'm watching it right now.
It doesn't look mad. Like, it doesn't look angry to me.
No, it looks like they're just discussing a play.
Yeah.
But
people, look at the comments. It's just like Bills fans are just not about it.
Since you mentioned fights, Doug Peterson did, when he met with media this morning, this afternoon, he did tell them that they are not going to allow any sort of fights when it comes to the Jags-Bucks joint practices this week. He and Todd Bowles worked that out way back in May, and they'll talk about it again this week ahead of those practices Wednesday and Thursday. But don't be looking for videos about skirmishes this week.
Unless it's in the Bud Zone, because that's where it happened this last weekend. I don't know if you guys saw the video.
I did not. But yeah, at the end of the day, you want healthy players, you want injury-free practices, and that's what hopefully they will get. All right, Taylor has a tangent. We'll also let you hear from Mac Jones when we return. You are listening to 1010XL 92.5 FM.
This is Helmets and Heels.
This hour is brought to you by First Coast Honda Dealers.
Want more Jags? Subscribe to the 1010XL Jaguars YouTube channel. Looking for more in-depth coverage of the Gators? Subscribe to the 1010XL Gators YouTube channel. Need your FSU fix? Well, subscribe to the 1010XL Seminoles YouTube channel. Your favorite team, one specific location.
Hey Jacksonville, Taylor Dahl here of Helmets and Heels. If you were looking to grow your career, Chick-fil-A restaurants are hiring and looking for folks to join their team right now. Chick-fil-A Jacksonville area restaurants are offering flexible hours, scholarship opportunities, and leadership development, just to name a few. You can find a friendly work environment with competitive pay and have fun at work with opportunities to serve your community. With locations all around Jacksonville, apply online or in person today at your local Chick-fil-A restaurant.
What makes a Honda certified pre-owned vehicle so special? 182-point inspection, 24/7 roadside assistance, first-year free oil changes, and a 7-year, 100,000-mile warranty for carefree driving backed by American Honda. Visit your local Honda dealer today.
Our slogan, Know Before You Blow, applies to more than just DUI cases. Hi, I'm attorney Lee Lockett of Lockett Law. Battery charges can result in jail time and criminal convictions too, so know before you blow a gasket and hit a loved one or a stranger. Drug crimes like possession of marijuana and cocaine will land you in cuffs too, so know before you blow. In a boating under the influence case, you also have the option to blow or not to blow. So know your options. Know before you blow. Go to knowbeforeyoublow.com now. Offices Jacksonville.
Hey, this is Bert Cannon with the First Coast YMCA. Youth sports at the Y can help nurture your future athlete's potential and experience the joy of being a kid. At the Y, we're providing a safe, clean, and fun environment with basketball, soccer, volleyball, gymnastics, elite skills training, and more. Best of all, participation in Legacy Youth Sports League is free with your family membership. Visit fcymca.org to learn all about youth sports at the Y.
Big Chief Tire Monday on Helmets and Heels.
Mortgage rates have plummeted, and Loan Pronto clients are locking in the lowest rates we've seen in years. Hey, it's Roger Moore, founder and CEO of Loan Pronto. It's happening. We are finally locking APRs in the 5s, something we haven't seen for a long time. If that sky-high rate is killing you or you need to get cash out of your home equity, now is the time to take action. Or listen, even if you want to keep that first mortgage rate intact, you can take advantage of lower rates with our Equity Express line of credit. We're seeing homeowners take $50, $75, $200 grand or more out of their equity and wiping out that high-interest debt with an average savings of $850 per month. Bottom line, your home value is way up and mortgage rates have come way down, making this a great time to act. Call today for a 30-second rate quote. Do it now, and you can even skip your next 2 mortgage payments. 904-999-1508. 904-999-1508. LoanPronto.com. 904-999-1508.
Equal housing lender. NMLS 166-1781. Subject to lender approval. NMLS ConsumerAccess.org.
Raid wants to know,
What would you do if you could confidently face every day knowing you and your loved ones are protected? Would you sing along to your favorite song at the top of your lungs? Turn off the GPS and let your heart do the guiding. Go to the drive-thru and order one of everything. Feel the buzz of confidence of knowing you are protected with 65 years of insect science in your hands. Raid. Protection for everyone.
Weekends were made for sports, and I'll tell you my take on this weekend's best options. Pick it here. Watch for Weekend with Dan on YouTube and Facebook. Weekend with Dan is brought to you by Stone Core. We do outdoors better.
Bueller Air and Plumbing presents Are You Cool?
Today's challenger, an asphalt marketer from Jacksonville, Florida. Meet Sheldon Fish. Today's category, air conditioner repair experts in Jacksonville, Florida.
Oh, I bet it's going to be Bueller.
Your question. Unlike Jacksonville, the Sahara Desert has a complete lack of air conditioner repair experts. What kind of camels do they ride?
That's not really a question about air conditioner repair.
5 seconds.
But that's a camel question.
Pick a camel, Sheldon.
Arabian dromedary.
That's right, Sheldon. Like the majestic Arabian dromedary, the skilled technicians at Bueller Air and Plumbing can repair any make and model of air conditioner the same day you call, making sure you are cool.
They don't spit, do they?
No, but Steve, the new guy, has a bit of a hump.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
Navy Mutual was created by service members for service members, so we know what it means to serve. Our policies have no active duty service restrictions, so you can rest assured that you're covered no matter your duty station, home or abroad. To go even further, we promise that premiums will not be higher for those who serve in dangerous environments, including aviation, diving, or on deployments. Let us help you protect those you love the most. Learn more at NavyMutual.org.
I'm with Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville, and now that you have Honda boats on the showroom floor, tell them about the big boat sale.
We are excited. We got a big sale, 11th through 13th. You want to come on down, see us in person. Some of our boats are going to be up to 30 grand off.
Up to 30 grand off?
30,000 in savings. It's a big sale event.
So they can start shopping online at cyclesofjacksonville.com. The size of the boats?
Anywhere from 19 to 24 foot, all with legendary Honda outboards.
Honda and Coach, check them both out on Atlantic near Regency. Cycles of Jacksonville.
For a chance to win a family 4-pack of tickets to the Coke Zero Sugar 400 August 24th at Daytona, answer this question. Who won last year's Coke Zero Sugar 400? Text the driver's last name to 641-1010.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. That just happened. Brought to you by Florida Home AC, the official air conditioning partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Never say I don't come bearing nice gifts for you, Florida Gator fans. CJ Ingram on threes, number 26 overall recruit in the basketball class of 2025. And yes, the son of C.I. Cornelius Ingram, the former Gator football and basketball standout, is committing to the University of Florida. And the golden era, round of applause, Dylan Denmark. It rolls on. CJ Ingram telling on three, quote, "We gonna have Florida rocking again like it's 06. If you know, you know."
Bring it back, baby.
Dylan, you've seen CJ in action, not just a top 30 recruit nationally. You believe that this guy, freak athlete on both the basketball court and the football field, too.
If he's anything like his dad, we'll be all right.
Yeah.
Put it to you like that.
And
yeah, he's pretty good.
I think for Gator fans everywhere, as cautiously optimistic or cautiously pessimistic as you may be about the football season, there is no doubt Todd Golden continues to wipe the floor, not only in the transfer portal, but on the recruiting front, especially here in the state of Florida, which I think is an underrated quality to have as a head coach in 2024.
Yeah, he's a 6'6" shooting guard. And so certainly with the losses of some of the guys, whether it's to the NBA or just guys that Florida isn't going to move forward with at that position, I think that's important. And so we'll see. Look, I'm excited about Florida basketball, but that's a long way away to me, even though the seasons really pretty much start right on top of each other. I shouldn't say start, but Basketball starts November. That's when football certainly is in full swing. And I feel like it's hard to pay attention to basketball right when it starts because you still have football
Like in
at
the
that
thick
point
of
in
it in
time.
football.
That's what you're hoping for. You don't want to be thinking about basketball season in November. You want to
Then
be
you know
thinking
things are
about
really bad.
football, and that's A-okay.
Overlap. That's the word I couldn't come up with. The seasons overlap. But yeah, I mean, Todd Golden has done fantastic, but certainly Billy Napier's measured against Mike Norvell more, I would say, than Todd Golden's success.
I think so, but I think when you look at the leash per se of not just Billy Napier, but also of athletic director Scott Strickland, I think the success that Golden has had has said, hey, I hired both these guys around the same time. And if one is having tons of success and the other is not, but you also look at that schedule we discussed in the 12 o'clock hour, Lauren, how many ranked opponents Florida has to play this upcoming football season? And maybe you say, okay, looking at him and looking at the time that was given to Mike Norvell out in Tallahassee to build up that program, saying, look, football and basketball are different sports. If Todd Golden is the guy and he's getting it together, the hope is that you just need a little bit more time on the football front to bring it back to bring it to a similar level of competence.
He's also a 3-star quarterback, by the way, too.
Okay, there it is.
So,
and we
I
also
don't think he'll take that job from Lagway.
And we
That would be
also
fun.
we were just doing some sleuthing, Dylan. So Hawthorne, but now on 3 listing him as playing at Oak Ridge down in the Orlando area.
yeah, that's news to me. I don't really follow that. I mean, basketball is more of your AAU and what you do over the summer. So, the school doesn't really matter as much. The school is everything. I didn't know that. But Hawthorne is a powerhouse in basketball. They've won multiple state titles, boys and girls.
Yeah.
CI is one of the coaches for the program, too.
Right, which is interesting because this On3 report also says that C.J. Ingram has recently decided to stop playing football and stop playing for his dad, or maybe he transferred, but one to note, but certainly a win for Todd Golden and the Gators on the recruiting front. Staying with local guys, PFF's grades from Saturday night's preseason game between your Jacksonville Jaguars and the Chiefs now out. We mentioned Terrell Edmonds' name earlier. They had him as their highest graded player with a 92.8. The second highest graded player, Mac Jones, with an 85.
That does not surprise me. I thought he played well, and I know he had the lowest QBR of the 3 guys that played Saturday, but I think
PFF's kind of weird.
Yeah, if you watched it, though, I thought he played well. All right, right now, Taylor Dahl has a tangent. Take it away, Dylan.
Now, Taylor's Tangent, served up by Chick-fil-A on 1010XL.
So I read a quote by former wide receiver Harry Douglas on ESPN, and he was talking about how he believes the Bills are Super Bowl or bust this season. Interesting comment to me. I would disagree. I think that the Bills, which I have also changed my opinion of the way I was highly concerned, and even after they could barely score, I still think that between Khalil Shakir and between Keon Coleman and Curtis Samuel and some of these other weapons that they do have, I still think they're going to be competing for one of the better teams in the NFL. But I do think that it gives them a little more time because they are kind of starting from scratch almost when it comes to offensively. To me, I would more say that it's a big season for Josh Allen to prove what tier Josh Allen really is at, because we've talked so much about how, AJ Brown goes to Philly and Jalen Hurts breaks out. Stephon Diggs goes to Buffalo, Josh Allen breaks out. And now he doesn't have that. He doesn't have Stephon Diggs. He doesn't have Gabe Davis. And they're kind of restarting everything. But going back to a conversation we had earlier, is I would honestly say, if you're saying Super Bowl or bust, to me, it's more of a Jets team that you're talking about, because I feel like the Jets put a lot of capital in getting Aaron Rodgers, and they were very disappointed last season because they got about 4 plays out of him, maybe. And behind that, I'm not confident in what they have. We don't know about Jordan Travis when he's going to come back. Tyrod Taylor, yeah, he's, like we just mentioned, year 14. That's not their long-term answer. If the Jets don't go all the way this year, it might be a long stretch where they're looking at being able to win again.
All right, it is also lunch with the ladies.
Yes, we have lunch for 2. Let's say caller number 2, 641-1010, you get lunch on us.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the fascinating part as we move into the second week of preseason. Then, of course, the third week before we get to week 1 is all of these questions that we had in the offseason for so many different teams. How do those shake out? I think for here in Jacksonville, what you saw Saturday night is there's going to be a battle for that 53-man roster at certain positions. And is Terrell Edmonds a guy that Mia just mentioned? Yeah, he had the highest PFF ranking. Is he a guy that makes the team? And Trey Flowers, another veteran back there. I don't necessarily see a path for that, but is there something that he can do over the next few weeks and in the joint practices with the Bucs that has him on the roster? There's just, and now we also have Breland Speaks, who, like you mentioned, had a good game Saturday night when he got in. By the way, Rick Ballou will speak with him after practice today. Is there a path for him? I mentioned him earlier, Asezi Otomehu. Is there a path for him? That's what, to me, is so much fun about watching the preseason. We, of course, nail down stuff here more than we look around every team in the league because these are the guys that we watch day in and day out.
The first 5 guys that are going to be waived and hopefully somehow find their way to the Jaguars practice squad to create even more depth are 5 guys that probably would have been starting or key depth 4 years ago. Yeah. And I know we did that exercise over the summer, going back to the 2020 roster, seeing how Trent Baalke, Doug Peterson have built this roster over the past 3 years or better part of the past 4 years. I think that is where Jaguar fans need to temper their expectation. And look, I'm not trying to put the cart before the horse, but temper your expectations, not just for next offseason, but for the years ahead. Good teams find guys like a DJ Coleman or a Deshaun Dixon, develop them via the practice squad, via being healthy scratches, and then find roles for them to develop them. Good teams find a Parker Washington in the 6th round. Say, okay, we're going to slowly bring you on for better or worse, maybe not great onboarding last year, but now we've onboarded you and you're not Christian Kirk this year. You're probably not Christian Kirk next year. But as Trevor alluded to last week when he spoke, if you have that inside-outside versatility and you're showing up each day and performing, can we create an offense that showcases your skill set? That's what good teams do. They don't go out and they sign this sexy free agent, that sexy free agent, because I know there are those of you saying, why aren't the Jags signing Justin Simmons if Dewey's going to be hurt? Perhaps because they say we have Terrell Edmonds, who's a stopgap. Maybe they like Josh Proctor, the undrafted free agent out of Ohio State. I don't know. And they say we'd rather have him developing while we have a stopgap, and then Dewey's coming back anyways. That is what good teams do. And that is where your team is right now.
And they also did get Adrian Amos, too.
Right. Another veteran stopgap. Yeah. Exactly.
All right, when we come back, I promise I'll let you hear from Mac Jones, a cut from Christian Braswell, and Cam Little, the kicker. You are listening to Helmets and Heels on 1010XL 92.5 FM on a Big Chief Tire Monday.
This hour of Helmets and Heels is brought to you by First Coast Honda Dealers.
Here's Linda Beaver.
Hey, school's in session, and here's today's lesson. We have hundreds of certified vehicles to choose from, starting as low as $89.99. Plus, they come with a 7-year, 100,000-mile peace of mind warranty and free oil changes. That means you and your soon-to-be drivers will be protected. Plus, every purchase allows us to fund teachers' projects for the entire school year. Your next assignment, get to Beaver Toyota in St. Augustine or Beaver Chevrolet in Jacksonville. Deadline August 31st. We're here to wow you and our teachers.
Mia here and ready for the ultimate college football season? Using MyBookie Sportsbook and casino platform, you can bet on every game and win anytime, anywhere, straight from your mobile device. No app needed. Just sign up at MyBookie.com and you are ready to rock. On MyBookie, it's not just about picking winners. It's an easy way to take advantage of props like team win totals or early picks for playoff contention. Last year, MyBookie had some of the best odds on the market for the national championship Wolverines to win the title, and Michigan bettors who backed their squad saw a 10 times return on their wager. Lock your futures in now while you're waiting for the season to begin and use promo code 1010XL to claim a bonus up to $1,000 on that first deposit. That's promo code 1010XL to start the college football season off with some house money. Don't ever miss out on the action. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere, only with MyBookie. And don't forget that promo code 1010XL.
Guys, feeling deflated in the bedroom? ED, low T, no energy? If your stuff is broken, call 904-STROKEN or 904stroken.com. No shots in the first treatment, now free. Fix your ED at 904stroken.com.
Mia here, and when I was buying a new construction home last summer, there was no question. Dream Finders Homes was the builder for me. A big reason why? Their unbeatable interest rates. Right now, take advantage of a 2.99% year one rate. Find your dream home, take advantage of unbeatable rates, and move in today. I'll say it again because it is basically unheard of across the country, folks. 2.99% year one. Dreamfinders Homes, the official home builder of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Chelsea here with Renewal by Anderson. Summer's winding down, and so are our prices at Renewal by Anderson's end of summer window and door sale. Upgrade your home with custom Fibrix windows and doors. Whether you need custom, energy efficient, hurricane resistant windows or a stylish new patio door, we've got you covered. A better way to a better window. Visit us at bestwindowsflorida.com for details. Transform your home before fall with the end of summer sale. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. License number CGC 1527613.
It's a Helmets and Heels Big Chief Tire Monday.
Lauren Brooks here. Circa Resort and Casino has an incredible all-in package for Duval in December. For only $500, tax and resort fee included, get a 3-night stay at Circa, $200 food and beverage credit, plus a day bed at Stadium Swim. With 6 temperature-controlled pools and a massive screen, it's the world's largest hot tub party. Join us Heels Friday night for a Jacksonville pep rally with specials and giveaways. To book the Jacksonville Game Day Getaway and join the Heels in Vegas, visit circalasvegas.com today.
Prosser here. Hey, pick a news source. But the reports are home prices are expected to decline in 2025, even after the election. So you need to maximize your home sales price now before this downturn, and you can do it with the agents proven to sell for top dollar, Chad and Sandy Newman. Hey, perhaps you're worried about selling for less money with a lowball out-of-state instant offer, or maybe you want maximum equity from your home, but you're not sure how. That's why you turn to Chad and Sandy, who have the answers. No required costly repairs. Chad and Sandy are the local real estate experts I trust and recommend for the sale of your home. Tony and Maggie at Jack's Golf and Country Club said, "We recently had a job transfer and we needed to sell fast. With homes in our area struggling to sell inside 100 days, we didn't know what to do. Our worries were solved when we hired Chad and Sandy. Our home sold in 3 days for one of the highest prices ever in our neighborhood at over $1 million. Call the local experts we trust, 904-414-6200 or ChadAndDSandy.com.
I'm Hacker. Get more Gators on the Gator Bites podcast presented by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists with new episodes every Wednesday. Subscribe and listen by searching for 1010XL Florida Gator Podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or TuneIn.
If you're looking for the best in indoor air quality, I've got the experts to call. Florida Home AC, the official AC provider of the Jaguars, specializing in the best air quality for your home or work with the Remy Halo. Instead of waiting for pollutants to travel through the ductwork to be neutralized, the Halo cell releases friendly oxidizers every time your fan blows air, helping those in your home that suffer from allergies and other respiratory issues. Call 777-4300 for Florida Home AC and start enjoying cool comfort and clean air.
Expert Automotive is ready to keep you cool this summer. Right now, get an AC inspection or a system cooling checkup. Your choice for only $19.99. Their gift to you this summer is $50 off any service and a free tire rotation with any service. Their ASE certified technicians can keep your car cool without breaking the bank this summer. Call them at 374-3373 to get an appointment today. Expert Automotive. They never sell greed, only what you need. Roof damage? Call before you claim. Green Law Group, fighting insurance companies for you. They will work for you when you have roof damage. Don't let your insurance deny you. Don't call an adjuster. Call Green Law Group at 904-302-7055. Remember, if you have roof damage, call Green Law Group before you claim. They've settled millions and will work hard to get your claim and new roof. Green Law Group. Call before you claim. 904-302-7055.
For any urological concerns, let Ackerman Urology be your trusted partner in men's health. With offices from Amelia Island to World Golf Village, they treat bladder conditions, elevated PSAs, and ED. Visit AckermanUrology.com.
Your Jaguars are back for another preseason matchup as we take on our neighbors to the west, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Meet us at the bank Saturday, August 17th for a 7:30 p.m. kickoff. This is your last chance to see the Jags before the regular season kicks off. So lock in your tickets today by calling 904-633-2000 or online at jaguars.com/tickets.
This is Dr. Kevin Kaplan, head team physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars.
Here's the latest update on the Jags, brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
Jaguars rookie wide receiver Brian Thomas Jr. was explosive in the Jags preseason opener win against the Chiefs Saturday night. Thomas secured a 41-yard pass from quarterback C.J. Beathard, showing off his speed and ball skills. Doug Peterson spoke post-game on his catch.
Well, obviously when you draft a guy, first this year, and the type of receiver and really the type of person for him, he's very capable, obviously, of making those types of plays, and just an excellent play. I think you see the excitement from the entire team. Same thing when Christian Braswell, even though it was ruled down, you saw the excitement there as well, and some of the other big plays that were made. But, we just got to keep Brian coming. He's going to be a big part of our offense.
Ollie McDonald with your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguars update.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, the cool down from the cool guys at Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Fast, reliable, and honest service since '87.
We'll keep it brief because I know so many of you Jaguar fans listening out there in Hooligan Nation want to hear from Mac Jones, hear a little bit from Brian Thomas Jr. from Saturday. Of course, if you want even more, head on over to the 1010XL Jaguars channel. All of our post-game interviews are available on demand by heading over to that YouTube page. But I also know plenty of you in the MyBookie Digital Studio chat want our thoughts on the Olympic Games, the Paris Games 2024 coming to a close. Not going to lie, ladies. I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say what everyone wants me to say following the United States last-minute win in the gold medal match yesterday. 61 straight wins for the American women. What I will tell you is that the style of play that group of women defer to, which, again, I think any basketball team would defer to in crunch time, especially when largely over to that 61-game winning streak, you have not really been tested. When they have been tested, we've seen it in the WNBA All-Star Game. And when we have seen it on a international stage, they defer to a style of play akin to the United States men's team during the exhibition portion of this Olympic cycle, which is, where's LeBron? Let LeBron just go down the court and one-on-one try to beat somebody. The problem with the makeup of this roster that was constructed is largely they do not have a player who can win one-on-one off the dribble outside of Asia Wilson and outside of Sabrina Ionescu, who did not play until the fourth quarter. Yes, there are two players who you are thinking of, or at least one of them, who were left home in the United States that are probably the two best players in the women's game right now in the country and the world who are able to win off the dribble. One of them is Arike Ogunbowale. The other, I think you all know who I'm referring to. At the end of the day, gold is gold, but I do think, and this goes for big picture, Taylor and Lauren, not just the women's basketball program, this will speak to the men's side, what we saw Emma Hayes and the women's soccer team not be afraid to do over the past 2 months. Understand that sometimes you need to depart from the old guard and say, hey, this is not just about 2024. This is also about 2028. We need to get that young blood, if nothing else, to ride the pine and be witness to another gold medal win in order to better set ourselves up for tournaments ahead.
Yeah, Gabby Williams was the best player on the court when I watched some of the USA-France women's basketball game yesterday morning, I should say. So I'll wrap it up today with my takeaways from the Jaguars-Chiefs preseason game number 1. The Jaguars' backup quarterbacks are better than the Chiefs' backup quarterbacks. Glad no one got hurt. The defense was flying around. There are some hard-hitting defensive players. And look, Jaguars special teams, I'm going to call it right now, they are elite again. Seeing Cam Little out there, obviously the return game as well between Parker Washington and Tank Bigsby was impressive. The Jaguars coaching staff knowing that they needed to get the refs to take a look at that Mecole Hardman kick return, sort of, since he went down in the end zone. They knew that was a safety. All of that goes into special teams. Elite performance by the special teams Saturday night.
Did you guys see, by the way, that Fox, that MLB game, put Mallory Swanson, not Mallory Swanson picture up there?
They put a picture side by side of Mallory, and it was supposed to be of Mallory and her husband Dansby, and it was Sophia Smith. Yeah, I did see that.
That's embarrassing, by the way. That's a big fail.
Sophia Smith is engaged to Michael Wilson of the Arizona Cardinals. Both went to Stanford together. Had no idea till yesterday. So once I knew that, I was like, maybe a pass, but no. Just because they're both married to celebrity athletes does not mean you can be switching the two.
The whole Cubs Twitter was just for the rest of the day would be like, oh, Dansby Swanson with a great play, and they would just post like a random baseball player.
I did see that.
But anyways, I'm going to go with that. My depth chart already. I think we kind of talked about how much the starting offense and defense we're pretty confident in. But I will say already the depth on both sides have changed for me, and that is fun because I think that means you have true battles in competition, and there's some surprises when it comes to some of these players that we feel may or may not make the roster. And to Mia's point earlier, there's guys that on this would be starters in previous years, 4 years ago, that now we're looking at being second and third string guys, which I think is a positive thing because that means you've built your roster to a point where you have your foundation really built in. But already we built I think it's been 2 weeks since we built our own depth charts, and now mine has pretty drastically changed when it comes to behind the starters.
Yeah, the 53-man roster is going to be really difficult, I think, for them to do, just because there are guys that are working their butts off and have talent too. And yes, I do think that when the first wave of cuts are made, some of these guys are going to end up on other teams. And I'm not saying that they're necessarily going to automatically start on other teams, but I think they'll become critically important depth pieces for other NFL teams. All right, let's get it to the backup quarterback, Mac Jones. How did he feel he played overall? Here's Mia with Mac post-game Saturday night.
I played pretty good. I think the offensive line did a good job, and we were in there communicating. And there's some guys that just got here a few days ago, so we're working in guys that haven't got a lot of reps, but they did a great job, and really think that we can improve. That's what we're going to do this week, and that's what you have to do. You have to watch the film. You got to start somewhere. So I feel like you definitely missed that touchdown throw in the back of the end zone. It's just kind of like it's a game of inches, right? You throw it 6 inches shorter, and it's a touchdown. So I'll keep working that throw and make sure I hit it next time.
Yeah, Josiah DeGuara, we haven't mentioned him yet because we could have mentioned literally 90 players from Saturday night, or at least like 80. And DeGuara, I thought, made some nice plays too.
Yes, and I think that he's a prime example of someone who, again, was a day 2 pick of the Green Bay Packers, was on the street for a little bit before the Jaguars signed him. So I'm curious if he elevates his stock to a point in the preseason where if the Jaguars were to waive him, someone would be interested if they have a lack of depth at the position. But he's a guy who, if you can sneak him onto the practice squad, if he doesn't make that 53-man roster solely because of the numbers game, he becomes that Josh Peterson role we saw a year ago when Bretton Strange had the foot injury. I would much rather, with all due respect to little Doug, much rather be calling up Josiah DeGuara in a moment's notice than I would Josh Peterson.
Yeah, that was one of the things when you go back and look at this game, how much the ball was spread out. And obviously you're talking about 3 different quarterbacks too, but they were finding someone like that. But obviously we talked about Duvernay, we talked about Brian Thomas Jr., Trammell got some touches, Deoners Johnson, actually, he had a couple receptions too. So that is what's also positive, because you have this offense where you feel like you can spread the ball out enough. You have these deep threats that you're confident in with the BTJ and a Gabe Davis. You have your comfort in Christian Kirk, who, yes, he did play. But then all of these other pieces that I feel like once this offense really starts rolling, there's so many options, and that's going to be hard to cover for defenses.
Yeah, Austin Trammell is the guy that Mia pointed out to watch Saturday night when we did the show on Friday, Taylor. I said Parker Washington. So I feel like both those guys played fairly well. Obviously, Parker with that electrifying 73-yard return. But look, Trevor has talked about him a lot. There's a reason that he has, because he has improved that much. And Trammell, we always talk about the Jaguars roster from a few years ago. Brian made this point to me. Trammell would have made this team in like 2016, somewhere around
2020,
there.
he would have made the team.
Yeah,
2021. Tavon Austin showed up midway through training camp and made the 53.
Right. Yeah. Brian Walters was on this team and was a starter back then in 2016, 2015, somewhere in there. And so, yeah, he probably would have made
I think
this
guys
team.
like Parker Washington and Elijah Cooks, we'd be talking about being like
Pro Bowlers.
Yeah.
They're going to be Pro Bowlers. Just you wait. Sneaky pick.
Speaking of the receivers, Brian Thomas Jr. met with reporters post-game in the locker room, and he wasn't the only one to meet with reporters in this clip. Here is BTJ and Gabe Davis.
It was great just to be able to go out there, get my first NFL catch. It was just great. It was a great feeling, great experience.
As great as this guy's a great teammate and a great guy. For all you guys, listen, young, black, successful. He's single, by the way. Just to let everyone know, he is single. So if you guys need somebody, he's your guy.
I love that so much, though.
I love the pat on the shoulder. You could hear it at the end.
You can hear the pat on the shoulder,
Yeah.
and you can literally hear BTJ's like cringe,
Like,
just
oh,
like
God.
wanting to melt
He
into the
was just
backdrop.
smiling, but he was like, "Oh my God, I hate every second
And
of this."
he can't say like shut up because Gabe is the
Like push his face out of the way.
Right.
Get out of here, Gabe.
Gabe's the veteran, even though they both arrived in Jacksonville around the same time. Gabe is certainly the veteran, and look, everybody has a different personality in a locker room. And Mia, you're in there week in and week out, so you obviously know the guys that are free and easy, and the guys that are certainly more on the quiet side. But I think that's the fun part is whether it was the first down movement that BTJ did to signal that he obviously caught the ball and it was a first down, which, by the way, was definitely, and Trevor said this post-game too, that was pass interference.
Yes.
I don't know how
Oh,
a
yeah.
flag wasn't called, but either way, I prefer
Gabe
fewer
also didn't
penalties.
think he was out of bounds on his catch, but,
Right,
but
exactly.
we'll keep that to ourselves.
Yeah, but yeah, it's fun to see their personalities, especially when you get a victory, even if it is in the preseason.
Do we have new shirts of Christian Braswell was not down?
So everyone wants to say, yeah, like that was a clean play and everything, but. And I forget the guy's name, Ramaggio or whatever.
Yeah, who people in Chiefs world are very high on, by the way.
Okay. Well, he was down, and then that's when Braswell touched him. And so we didn't get to Christian Braswell or Cam Little today, maybe later in the week. But Mia, people, like you mentioned, can check out those videos on the 1010XL Jaguars page on YouTube.
Yes, they can. And a note from Jaguars practice, the team is moving indoors. So if you were one of those fans trying to sneak in late to try to get autographs at 2:30 when practice wraps, they are moving into the indoor facility from what I can see, and we'll be back on the practice field tomorrow morning, one last practice as a single unit before the Tampa Bay Buccaneers arrive on Wednesday.
I'm assuming that Doug doesn't want them out there in that heat. I see 94 degrees, but it's not storming.
No, Demetrius Harvey just said that the Jags are going indoors now. That's a wrap for practice.
Oh, they're
today
just
for
not
fans.
practicing anymore.
No, they're going indoors because of weather in the area.
Oh, okay.
So I'm looking at the radar right now. I don't see any thunderstorms, but I'm going to be headed down there once we wrap up here with Joe C. And we'll report back exactly if the Jags are still practicing or if they're done for the day.
All right, let's say hello to Joe Cowart.
Now, the 2-minute drill brought to you by Injury Care Centers. Discover BioTarget Regenerative Therapy, a safer drug-free solution for lasting pain relief. Visit GoBioTarget.com.
What was your favorite moment Saturday night?
Oh gosh, there were Parker Washington, I guess, since it was the first big thing that happened. But the Brian Thomas catch, there were so many. Devin Duvernay. There were a lot of really good plays that were made. Defensively, not so much. They gave up a few of those big chunk plays, which I was actually looking for them to start off a little bit better. But I will definitely take the Parker Washington kick return because nobody knew what was going to happen on a kick return. So I loved it. Loved it.
Yeah, that was fun. I think the Trevor Lawrence throw across the middle to Gabe Davis, that's something that people have been clamoring to see. Trevor actually use the middle of the field.
Yeah. He has been challenged there, I think, by Press Taylor, by Doug, to basically say, hey, we got all this area. We've got big receivers, be it Gabe, be it Evan. You can certainly include Christian Kirk when he would move the chains and go across the middle. So, yeah, take up every bit of the field that you have. And Gabe is that yards per catch guy. So I think he's going to be a real asset.
For sure.
How much after one game has your depth chart, has it changed at all, altered at all when it comes to the depth pieces?
I guess I don't know if I'm over the top and being critical of Parker Washington. I just thought Devin Duvernay could come in and be a bigger star. I still kind of believe that, but I've been a little rougher on Parker than I probably should be. So anyway, I upgraded my opinion of him. He's had a good camp. And then the other guys, that interior part of that defensive front, I need to see Eric Armstead before I know whether or not they're going to be any good or not. That's still a troublesome area.
Yeah,
good to see some Eric soon.
That's right, yes. Hopefully next week he'll be off of the pup and out on the field. All right, what you got coming up today?
Definitely tearing into that game. Taking a look at all the rookie quarterbacks. Denny Thompson, the quarterback whisperer, will be in at 3 o'clock because if you look at what Jaden and what Caleb and JJ and all of them, Bo Nix, anyway, we'll tear into all those, talk about that injury in Gainesville, and start getting closer and closer to the college football game.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Joe.
All right, have fun.
Thank you. It was a fun night Saturday night. Look, I have said a million times I'm not the biggest fan of preseason. I don't like seeing guys get injured and out for the season, or at least out for some time in a preseason game when the results don't matter. But thankfully, the Jaguars came out pretty much unscathed. Foye Oluokun had a little bit of hamstring tightness, so he did not practice today. But it sounds like he'll be good to go for the joint practices against the Bucs. So that's going to do it for us. For Mia O'Brien, for Taylor Dahl, for Dylan Denmark. Great job all day, Dylan. I'm Lauren Brooks. Don't go anywhere. XL Primetime is next. These heels are made for talking. We will talk to you tomorrow.
Helmets and heels. This hour is brought to you by First Coast Honda Dealers. Local and live.
Live?